Okay, so we got this first one called Country Roads. And so we're going to look through, it's listed as a beginner strength training workout. Okay. Now I'd want to see from a new coach a description right where the cursor is as to the overall structure and design. How does this program supposed to work in 5 to 7 words? So like a summary of the overarching principles of this one, right? So since we don't have that, we have to look at it kind of de novo. So we want strength training. So we're going to look at, let's see this first workout. So we have the areas of shoulder and upper back, skills dumbbell snatch. We have good mornings, TRX extension, LWV, and squat extension. There's no movement called a TRX squat extension. So that's one thing. I want to, when you write TRX workouts, TRX has gone through the trouble of actually naming every workout there is. So there is no movement called TRX squat extension in TRX. So you want to look up the actual name for the workout so you know what it is. And let's look at the actual workout here. So it's 1 round for quality. We have dumbbell snatch, dumbbell push press, dumbbell snatch, hang high pull, snatch, shoulder press, snatch, and incline row. So it's more of, when you're doing this kind of speed, it's going to be more conditioning. And then a dumbbell snatch is very difficult for a beginner to do. They don't have the flexibility to get down all the way. They don't have the overhead mobility to pull it up. They don't understand hip timing. I would really never put a snatch movement in a beginner workout, certainly not one for strength, because the snatch teaches kind of speed, which is kind of the opposite of what we do for strength. I also would always think about the movement patterns, right? A push press is a more complex version of the strict press. We haven't taught in this brand new beginner level workout, we haven't taught the client how to do a strict press. So why are we going to go to a push press when we haven't taught them, learn to walk before you learn to run? And so I wouldn't put a push press, especially in the first workout. Maybe it's the 6th or 7th one. The hang high pull, well, they don't even know how to, we don't even know if they're good at doing a deadlift. So this one isn't as complicated, although the dumbbell hang high pull is a weak movement compared to the barbell ones. It's okay. The sumo deadlift high pull with a kettlebell is a better choice. This exercise overall is not a great exercise really in any program. So the other thing that's weird is we go through, we have the shoulder press, and then we have an incline row. An incline row, I'm assuming on like a bench, seems like a weird choice because these are all standing exercises, and then we have a bench out of nowhere. And it adds extra equipment and setup. Plus, you have to teach all these movements, and that's just too much to do for a brand new person. We can then look at the choice of the T-spine, the cool down, T-spine stretch, thoracic rotation, quads and hamstrings. I'm okay with the choice of mobility for this workout, but there are problems with this workout overall. So I think this makes sense if we were going to do this workout, but I probably wouldn't do this workout for a lot of different reasons. In addition, it's missing weights. All workouts need to have weights. The weights should be designated by the skill level of the member and the difficulty of the movement. So, shoulder press, is probably for a beginner somewhere around 30, 20. That's male, female. But I can't really write one for the snatch because we really shouldn't be having beginners do that anyway. Okay.
So if I can ask, a workout based around the shoulder press would be okay, but the other ones seem probably too complex for a beginner.
Well, let's fix this workout so you get an idea. I could see where you were trying to go, but let's rewrite this into something that would be appropriate, right? Now, if you're familiar with this notation, this means 10 reps, 10 reps, 5 reps, 5 reps, 3 reps, 3 reps, 3 reps, dumbbell shoulder press, 4 load. Okay, so they're going to log how much weight they can do with each one, finish that, and then do 50 kettlebell sumo deadlift high pull for conditioning or for speed. And this is a strength and conditioning workout. Here's your strength person, here's your conditioning. It really looking for a strength, but I think this would fit. This is easier to coach. I mean, that's important for you to see. It does what this does, and it makes coaching easier. It makes it easier for the client to learn. They can focus more on doing the workout than to learn some very tricky things. The risk of injury is much lower. These movements are simpler. If you want to make dumbbell press harder, just press more weight up there. We have plenty of heavy dumbbells. Make sense? Okay. You're muted, so I can't hear you if you said anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're not trying to overwhelm the client with complexity. We're trying to give them a safe and doable
Exactly. And
workout.
keep in mind when you start, I'm going to watch you very, very carefully. Are you more comfortable coaching this workout or this workout?
The one that you just developed, Paul.
Right. So make your life easy.
Yeah.
You're much better. This is easier to coach. Don't work so hard. There's no need to.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the next one. Hip hinges, TRX glute bridges, TRX overhead press, TRX hamstring bridges, twisted grip row. This is not a named movement. So look up what that movement is. I have a book that has all the names of the movements. It's probably a real movement. We have to look it up. Okay. So 3 rounds for quality, 25 minutes. Barbell static lunge. The static lunge, I'm assuming the barbell is on their shoulders. That's actually a hard position for a lot of beginners to get into. They don't have the requisite shoulder mobility.
Okay.
8 wall balls, 6 barbell squats, 8 wall balls, 6 barbell step ups, 8 wall balls, 6 barbell squats. This workout isn't good for the same reasons the previous one wasn't. So you have to teach this movement, the squat, the wall ball, and the step up. A new client is not likely to have enough lateral flexion control to do this kind of movements. So I think what would be better is to keep that same pattern, right? So maybe you can even do the same workout just about, right? We're going to actually just copy it because what you're trying to do is similar. So we can switch the movements, right? We can take this to a goblet squat. And we can do goblet squats for load. And we have heavy enough kettlebells to do that with.
So are you, would you indicate the, excuse me, sorry about that. Would you indicate the weight that, like you did here
You don't
for?
need to because, so when you write a workout, you lock all the variables except for one. Load is not locked on this one. Reps are locked. Time is as much time as they need to recover. You're going to give more time as the reps go down, like in any strength program. Certainly you could write it in if you wanted to, right? You can say something like, 90 seconds between sets.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of implied. So now you have wall balls, which is a conditioning exercise, and you have step ups. Okay, let's put them together. But we're going to do it this time as an AMRAP to give a little bit of variability.
So does this technically so do wall balls and step up qualify as a strength
No, it
training?
depends. It does not. So right now, based on the last workout and looking at the movements, this workout is very similar to the last one. This would be a strength and conditioning program. Am I okay with you doing a strength and conditioning program for a beginner? Yes, as long as it's scaled correctly. But if we start with strength and conditioning, we need to do all 8 workouts because I want a consistent structure. That makes sense?
It does.
Okay. It's easy to understand. You do one strength component, you do one conditioning component. Okay. So
Yep.
the second part works by they're going to go through as many rounds as they can do in 12 minutes. We have fixed the time domain. We've fixed the weight. The med ball lateral step up is like a side step up, and then they're going to press the ball up overhead, assuming they have the control. You may need to scale that down, take the med ball out, or remove the press if they don't have the balance for that. We made the press very light, but not every beginner has enough control. You might also specify the height of the box. We'll do a lower box on this one because that's a hard move for beginners. The height of the box should depend on the height of the client though. So this would be for someone, right? Somebody who's 6'8" is certainly going to do a higher box because it's easier. Okay, make sense?
It does. So the idea is that they're going to try to do that as many times as they can in 12 minutes.
And we're going to log rounds completed.
Good.
Did you take a look at the CrossFit template doc that was mentioned in this document?
I did.
There's a lot of different choices that you can use if you're doing CrossFit programming.
That was very, very helpful.
Yeah, it took me forever to write it, but it was very much worth it. Okay. Well, let's put a strike through this. Okay. So I think you can apply what I just went over to this workout. It suffers from some of the same comments and you can fix it much the same way. So I'm going to skip this one, take what I went through and apply it to this one.
Okay.
Workout 6. All right. I want you to look at workout 6 and explain to me what I don't like. See if you can apply the rationale and how I would change it, because we have to keep the same structure. And even structure aside, right? We're doing strength and conditioning, but let's take it back to the original request. I asked for a beginner strength program, right?
Sure. Well,
what's wrong with this one?
Okay, so it has a lot of the same weaknesses that you pointed out. It's there are several complex movements here when that the client may not know. They may not be comfortable necessarily with maybe the awkwardness of the dumbbell. There's some.
I think those comments you're saying, those are things to look out for. I don't think they apply in this case though.
Okay.
That is things I said. It's not relevant to this workout. This workout has different problems.
Okay. Well, let's see. We have well, there's a lot of like unnecessary movements from like the bench press to an upright, then to a different, then to the incline, and then to a rear. So there's a lot of like, I think one of the 10 criteria behind writing a workout plan was minimizing transitions. There's just a lot of like.
There's a lot of dead time in here. That is a big problem with it. You got that right. Another issue is we want to work compound to accessories, right? This one kind of mixes them in. And when you write a workout like this where it has rounds, it emphasizes speed. Kickbacks are an accessory, and so are rear delt flies. They're not done for speed, you do them for equality. But the workout has time as the main time domain. It doesn't have weights either. So, and I also don't see the need to have both dumbbell press and bench, right? So let's switch it up, right? Let's think about what we'd want to do. So we want to do maybe the same exact rep scheme, although bench we might switch just because it works slightly differently, but we're going to just take this as our starting place, and we'll do dumbbell incline press, which you wanted to do, which I'm good with.
Yeah.
And instead of going to threes, I think we'll keep the reps a little higher because it's a little harder to control, which was the awkwardness you talked about, right? And then this is dumbbell press, dumbbell incline press for load. Okay, I'm good with doing that. And then you want to switch, which is okay. If you want to do kickbacks and rear delt flies, right? Those are accessories. It's no longer conditioning, right? It's a different style workout, but still important for beginners to do, right? And so kickbacks, we got to write our weights though, right? So we'll do 10, 10 kickbacks for load. And when you have a chiral exercise, you got to specify it's 10 left and then 10 right, because it's never clear whether you meant 10 each side or 10 total. So always specify it so it's clear. And then the rear delt fly. The rear delt fly with dumbbells is okay, but since you have access to exercise tubing, you have access to a cable machine, you might use a better one. Those are better tools if you have them. If you don't have them, sure, dumbbell is okay, but might as well use a better tool since we have it. Cable machine. Assuming you're used to using that, right? If you're not used to using it, then use dumbbells, obviously. Okay, and then we can do, yes.
I have a question. With the workout so we have incline press, and then followed by another incline press.
That's just a notation. So this would be like on sugar wad, which would you have to do it. This will be the title, dumbbell incline press, and then this is the workout definition.
I understand. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yep. So is there a good reason to stick these together? There is not, because we're alternating, which is the rest. There's no reason to cram these together into the same sequence. So we're just going to space it out. So this is accessory kickbacks. Okay. And this is also for load. And when you think about it, when you set up the workout this way as a coach, isn't this going to be easier to control the client? You got one exercise you're doing at a time.
Yes.
Right? It's easier to log the workouts, right? It's less rushed. There's less things for them to remember up front, right? They don't know how to do any of these exercises, so it's a lot to just put up in front. And this is less effective than this style. So this is both harder to coach, more frustrating to the client, and less effective than this simpler one. Make sense?
Absolutely. That's great. Great feedback.
A big point, do not put corrective accessory type exercises in circuits with compound exercises. It doesn't make any sense to do that. They are good exercises. They shouldn't be sequenced this way. They should be sequenced this way. All right. I think this workout has the same kind of issues, but let's see more particular. So hang high pull, front squats. Beginner clients often can't do front squats because of the mobility, but they might be able to do the kettlebell version. So in this case, you have less movements. You have 2. Okay, that's better off the top. So you're trying to teach the clean patterning. Okay, I'm okay with that idea. I think you might put in your workout definition, right? That's where this description is, like areas, skills, hang high pull. Okay, you wrote it as a high pull and front squat. Okay, that's fine.
But you're right. It's part of that teaching that clean.
This is clean drills, or barbell clean drills. And if I was going to be teaching a brand new person how to do a clean, right, I probably would be looking at these kind of things. I might do just 2 things I don't like. One is I probably would include the hang muscle clean in the sequence, right? And I might do it this way because they should at least see the general movement here. I put it in the middle because once it's up there, then they do the squat. I think this sequence would be better done as follows. Okay, so here we're going to work each one of these patterns at a specified weight for 5 minutes each, right? And then this becomes the scoring. You need to specify scoring is going to be description based. That's one of the choices, or I think it says text or something like that, where they can write how it went. And it's going to be 3 different sets. So 3 sets of other text as you're scoring. So they can write, this is really hard, I'm working on this, etc., etc. So this is your drill, right? So and we might put it in a comment. We'll put it right here. Star. Increase weights if patterning is good. Okay. So once we've done that, we actually know what weights are good for this client, right? We can set up our 12, or we'll do maybe 10 minutes and 10 minutes. Well, we'll do it this way. 3 rounds for time. 21, 15, 9. What makes this work well is you'll spend this 15 minutes kind of teaching these patterns and seeing what weights should be selected for these ones. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because the way you wrote this too, right? Adjusting the weights like kind of as you're doing it, because you have low weight, medium weight, high weight. While we're doing this, that's just not going to work. Like then that's a switch weights, or you need multiple barbells, and multiple barbells for each movement doesn't really make sense, right? So just drill the movements, right? You'll find what weights are appropriate when you do that. And then this is the workout, right? So this is the skills. And this is your WOD. And this is exactly how I would teach a CrossFit class or a strong class. This is more CrossFit from the time domain. Why can't we make this, and it's conditioning, why can't we make this strength? Because the clean is too complicated to do max effort. Would you ever have a brand new client do max effort hang cleans? No, it's too hard. They'll hurt themselves. Could you have an experienced person do that? Sure. I do max effort hang cleans all the time. So because you chose a hard movement, you can't do strength. I still think it's okay because I do want members to learn it, and so you'll teach it to them, and so that's fine. But that's why it has to be a conditioning workout, because you chose patterns that they can't be done for max effort or even a heavy effort for beginner.
I understand.
So far so good. All right. 5 good mornings, 5 air squats, 5 band pull aparts, 5 side lunges. Okay. Squat thrusters, planks with chest taps, wall balls, plank side taps, floor slams. It's not a strength workout.
Right.
For one, the reps don't make sense. Like, why would we do only 5 wall balls? I don't understand that. I don't understand why we'd have a time domain based workout with a static move like a plank. That doesn't make sense to me either. CrossFit workouts never have static movements in an as many rounds for time or rounds for time methodology. They do use them, but not in this kind of sequencing. So that doesn't mean I'm not okay with the movements, though. You can do squat thrusters, fine. If they can do a front squat, okay, and they can press overhead, right? They could do plank chest taps and wall balls. We use them in the last movement. Why don't we copy the same pattern we just did? Because this same pattern works for this workout that you're trying to do. Okay, what is it though? How would you do this? How would you take your workout here and turn it into the same format we just did?
Let's see. I would take.
It's a hard question. Take your
Yes.
time.
Yes. So
Maybe type it out if you want to type it out.
well, I have my sleeping son in my arms, but
Don't worry about it. Talk it out.
I think what I mean, based on what we developed in the last one, I would say for the skills to take 5 minutes each to work on the squat thrusters.
Okay.
And the wall balls. So practice those.
I lose you?
And I would do higher series or higher numbers of the squat thrusters and the wall balls.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Functionally, what's the difference between a squat thruster and a wall ball?
So that's a great question.
Is there a big difference between the two?
No, I would say that the thruster, maybe you're going further to the ground, but maybe not that. No.
You're going exactly the same depth. We squat to parallel.
So they're functionally the same.
Just about.
Yeah.
There's a slight difference from the explosive aspect of the wall ball, maybe, but nothing that would matter to beginner. So because of that, there's no reason you should combine them in a beginner workout. You're just making your job harder by teaching two movements when one will do. The way to change this workout is as follows. All thrusters, by the way, are squat thrusters by definition, so you don't need to write the squat portion. It's understood. Now you want to put, I'm going to make an assumption that you want to put these two movements, which I'm cool with, into the workout. Because you want to do that, we're going to change the time and make the number of reps less so we have more time to do that extra movements you want to do in the back of the workout, which are movements beginners need. Okay? 10, 10, 10, dumbbell front squats, dumbbell strict press, dumbbell thruster. You just taught them how to do it up here, right? We worked on the skills. We can combine them together, okay? And then this movement's slightly less complicated than the clean. We're gonna take it to 3 minutes each. So now we're at 19 minutes. And now you wanna do some planks and some side planks. I'm okay with it, but I think I'm concerned about the fact that we did a lot of shoulders here, and then you have lots of shoulders here. Too much shoulders for sequencing these together. So maybe we can do one though. So we're gonna do this instead. Okay, so because they're 30-second rounds each, we're no longer trying to force a client to move quickly through the chest tap or the wrist tap. Wrist tap is better for beginner. Chest tap is more of an intermediate level movement because it does them no good to go faster. Going faster isn't the design of that. It's to maintain stability. And then they have a fixed movement, 10 sit-ups. So if they finish that early, they get a rest. If they don't, they're back to the planks. And we've taken some of the extra work off the shoulders by doing the sit-up, which still works core, right?
Yes.
Okay. That workout's good. I'm going to skip these two because one of the things I do I need to make sure that you can make changes like these without me giving you answers, because it only works. You always have to make changes on the fly when you're working with people, and your ability to recognize what should be done at the time is a skill I need to make sure you have, which is why I don't just give people the workouts, because I can write it in the abstract and then there's something going on, the client has an injury, you need to change it. And so I need to make sure you can develop this skill.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll skip those. We're going to look at this one now. So this one is our weight loss program. So we have row machine for 250 meters, 5 push-ups, 5 med ball slams, 25 dumbbell unders or single unders. Okay. What don't I like about this? What do you think it is?
Let's see. Well, I guess in the skill area, I indicated that it was going to be a single arm dumbbell row.
Which one are you looking at? Hold on. I'm looking right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes. Well, that's certainly a problem.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what it is, because none of the stuff I told you before, there's different problems with this. So rowing's fine. Rowing 250 meters, how long does it take a beginner to do?
A very long time.
About how long?
Probably about 3 to 4 minutes.
That's the right answer. About 3 minutes, 3:30 maybe. How long does it take to do 5 push-ups?
Yeah. 20 seconds.
Yeah, there's a problem there, right? There's a balancing problem, right? 5 med ball slams is also like 30 seconds, right? And then 25 double unders or double unders is not happening for a beginner, period. They'll never, I wouldn't even put it in there. Double unders is advanced or expert level skill only because it's really hard for them to do it. Can you do double unders?
I'm on a good day.
On a good day. Never put in any techniques that you can't demonstrate well. And not everybody can do double unders. They're very hard. If you can do them, great. Not everybody can. Just like handstands, not all my coaches can do them. But if you can do them, you can use them. But not in a beginner workout. I think the problem now that's okay.
Am I running the risk of just getting them to the point of exhaustion, like within the first few minutes of the
With
workout?
it, with an 18-minute AMRAP for the beginner.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to teach a beginner client pacing on this kind of workout, right? And yes, they might go too fast. That you can control through telling them how fast to go through and things. So this workout as revised is fine. You're going to start though, let's say, actually, let me finish talking about this and then I'm going to pose the questions. With this revision, your workout's fine. Now these movements take about the same amount of time, more or less. And we've taken away the push-up, which is a strength movement, which did not fit in here at all. It just was it just didn't make any sense. When we've raised the reps on here, simplified this and increased reps. So this is fine.
Paul,
yes.
Can I ask you a question? One of the workouts in the template was every minute on the minute. Could I also use that here where maybe whenever they finish the minute, they move on to something else? Would that be an appropriate?
Sure.
format?
So you could do, instead of doing that, you could do 4 rounds on an EMOM, right? And then we score reps completed. Okay. And if we do that, score plus calories, we have to change what's followed. This is no longer a fixed item. This is now calories. This is not fixed. This is not fixed. We're scoring reps completed. This will be easier than the previous one because you're not forcing the client to do so many reps. When they want to slow down, they just slow down. This is easier, even though it's the same movements. It's better than the previous version for a beginner. It's actually good for anybody. People like these workouts, having written many of them. Everybody feels like a winner, and and that's good. It's nothing. And every workout doesn't have to be super, super hard. Okay. Um, your skills on this workout should be the jump rope. That's not an easy skill for beginners, even the single under. Let's say they do it and they're really just struggling. Like they're doing the 1 foot, then the other foot, they're jumping and then pausing. And you work on the skill for 10 minutes and the jump rope's nowhere where it needs to be for this workout. What are you going to do?
I'm going to nix the actual rope. I'll ask the person to do the jump rope movement without the actual rope.
So you do air rope jumps. Fine.
Yes, sir.
You could do jumping over little plastic hurdles. You could do a lot of variations like that. You want to do air ropes? Air ropes are fine. Okay. It's good. We fixed it. You'll need to make your adjustments because we're updating your workout, obviously, to the warm up and the cool down to apply it to that. But let me see what you picked for the cool down. So you picked the isometric squat, flexor stretch, chest stretch, shoulder stretch. Okay. So you have stretches related to the exercises that were worked. We took out the chest aspect, so that one's no longer in there. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. We don't have battle ropes in the gym because of COVID. I do own battle ropes. We don't have any in the gym right now. So we don't have that piece of equipment. Reverse lunges, frog jumps, single arm dumbbell row. Let's take the workout as you wrote it, assuming we did have battle ropes. Okay. Analyze the workout based on everything I told you and tell me what's good and what's not good about it.
Well, similar to something like double unders, reverse lunges may not be very doable for a beginner, especially with the knees. Frog jumps, the same thing. A lot of those jumps can be hard for somebody who's a beginner or is deconditioned. And so there's a lot of strain on the knees.
I would agree. There's strain on the knees if you don't have control of your hips. I'd agree with that. What else?
Let's see. The timing, I guess, like if you're doing 5 rounds of this, 1, 2, it doesn't add up to 18 minutes.
Is 18 minutes a time cap or how long the workout takes?
I think it was supposed to be the time cap, yeah. So it would have, that itself, based on the 20-second or this style.
There's definitely an issue there because it's not, as you programmed it, this workout wouldn't take 18 minutes.
Right.
There's another problem, though, that's even more significant. I'm going to ask you some questions and I think the answer will come to you.
Go ahead.
This is a conditioning movement, right?
Yes.
This is stability and conditioning.
Okay.
This one is explosive strength and conditioning. What's this?
Oh, that's strength.
Does it fit?
No, it doesn't.
Not at all. So get rid of that one. Now, your comment about them being too hard for beginners. Yes, you're right. TRX squat jump, when you're holding the TRX, will deal with the problem about stability. The TRX reverse lunge will deal with the stability issue you mentioned. And then we can just pick a third TRX movement. So both of them are facing the anchor point. So, and these are, this is moderate, that's high. We'll do TRX cycle jumps. We'll change this to 1 minute intervals. And we'll actually put in a rest because that's going to be very hard for a beginner to do. And that takes us to a 20-minute workout. If you don't know these movements, make sure you talk with one of the coaches before you program him,
Yes.
right? Or substitute them out. I picked these. This is not the only right answer. Okay, if you don't know what cycle jumps are, make sure you look them up from a source or talk to a coach who's certified in TRX. Don't trust the YouTube channel of some guy who's got a great six-pack who doesn't know a damn thing about training. We all know those videos, okay? These are real movements. They have real points of performance, and make sure you know them, or pick other movements that you can find good resources for. So I don't look at your program and tell you in front of the client, that's not even a cycle jump. And you're looking like you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Cool downs make sense. Good. We do have lots and lots of videos on YouTube. You can probably search our channel for those movements. They'll probably come up. But I can tell you that Mark, Max, and Brian will know those movements. Brian actually has several certifications in TRX. And he'll be able to tell you what they are if you don't know what they are. Okay. Let's look at the next workout. Okay. Talk me through it. Do you think it's good or not good?
I think it's got some of the same weaknesses as the other ones.
Okay. I want you to take all the principles I've taught to you so far, and then I want you to think about the different problems, and then I want you to stack them in order of like the most severe. Okay. What would you say is the most severe issue with this workout program or this workout right here? Number one mistake.
Well, again, this is a weight loss program. This is not a strength program, and lots of so there shouldn't be as much of a focus on strength, but also you're teaching some very complicated moves like
That's the problem.
like we discussed, snatches and
Do you think I could teach this workout to a brand new beginner and get them to do it safely?
No.
No, I can't do it. You're right. I would never program this workout for a brand new client. You definitely should not do it. That's the main problem. It's such a severe problem that I would take out these movements altogether. There's no point in doing them. You won't get them to work. That's the biggest issue. Second, you just did jump rope, I think, in the 2 workouts ago. So I might not put it in this early, although, if you are, some coaches like to teach jump rope as an important skill, and for that, I could see keeping it. 5 kettlebell swings. doesn't make any sense to me. Kettlebell swings are high volume movements, minimum 25, normally we do 50 or even 100 is what we're doing. 5 we would never do. Clean and jerks are heavy, so certainly you could do 5. This workout, if it was written this way, could be, and there's no per side because they're barbell movements.
Oh yeah.
That workout could be an okay advanced level CrossFit workout, but we don't have an advanced level person.
Yes.
So it doesn't work. So what do you want to do about it? How do you want to change it?
Yeah, I want to get rid of the clean and jerks, and I want to get rid of the snatches,
Okay.
and I want to do more kettlebell swings. I'd like to keep. Is that an interest? Is that interest? Is that interesting enough? Is that variable enough for the client?
I would do something like this. Okay. Underneath this structure, we can reinforce. So we already taught the client how to do jump ropes, so they'll be better at it. We're given 10 minutes of time to teach the kettlebell swing, which is very hard to teach to new clients. Then we're going to do it in a workout. And then we're going to put the single leg deadlift, which uses the same kettlebell that we can use for the swing, probably a lighter one though. And we can do that by itself and work on teaching that. This weight will probably be 15 and 10. Okay. I wouldn't do this warm up because the row machine takes a lot of time to clean and take apart. And then you have conditioning here. You don't need this conditioning. And then the lat pull down also takes time. I probably wouldn't do lat pull downs with rowing either because one's conditioning and one is pull aparts. They're both okay. I wouldn't sequence them this way. Like if I wanted to use these movements, I probably would simply do row, machine, 500 meters and 30 lat. Maybe even 40. That's, that's going to be better. You don't have enough time though with what we've done now.
So, Paul, can I ask you a question? Since there'll be so much emphasis on kettlebell swing, is there something that we could do in the warm up that would open up those?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So think about what the kettlebell swing requires, right? What does it require? It requires thoracic extension and the hip hinge, right? And maybe shoulder extension, right?
Okay, yeah.
So
That's the idea, that the warm ups are
yep.
connected to what that's challenging. That's not an easy
Well,
thing to.
thoracic extension, we can do. So a simple movement at this thoracic extension is a good morning, right? Or what we call arcs, which is when you lay on your stomach and you arc your back up. The hip hinge, the good morning has that too, but you can also do glute bridges.
The arc is also Superman. Is that?
Yeah, you can think of it as Superman. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
Superman tends to be more lumbar flexion. Thoracic extension has to come from the top of the shoulders.
Okay.
Then just think about where the extension is coming from. And then shoulder extension might be, that's basically pulling your arms down, right? That's your shoulder extension. Because we need that for the swing to maintain the tightness, right? So maybe we can do ab wheel. And then you just write your times, right? And you've warmed up the patterns, and you can use these warm-ups for talking when you're teaching the swing, that which muscles are going on. Okay, we can check our time. We got 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'd give you maybe 8 minutes for this. So that was what, 28? Cool down, 38 minutes. Okay. I want you to do the rest on your own because they're not going to come out as well as the ones we just did together, but I want you to have a chance to apply everything as best you can. We'll review them and we'll go through and make corrections as needed again.
Excellent. I'll work on this and I'll try to get.
Let me look at one of your mobility workouts though, because I didn't look at any of them. Squat position, frog jumps, dead bugs, squat to stand, walk out. Interesting. Your, at least initially, your understanding of corrective exercises is superior to your sequencing of workouts, which is not a common thing. It is often harder for new coaches to come up with the right correlation for which exercises should be done for warm-ups and mobility than sequencing workouts. You have it the other way. This is harder to learn, I find, and harder to teach. Let's see what you got for standing fold, hip, bird non. Yeah, you got these. This is all the right idea. They're not the most sophisticated choices, but they're certainly fine for where you are now. I don't have any problem with you doing these exercises. You'll use these exercises when, for example, you're doing strict press and you notice the client cannot press the bar straight overhead without opening up their ribs. They don't have the requisite shoulder mobility to do the exercise correctly. Okay, no problem. You got an overhead mobility workout already, right?
Yes.
You have a front rack workout planned where you're going to do the front squat. They cannot get into that position. They can't get their elbows up, right? Well, that's good. Well, you got mobility to work on that with them. That's why you put them in. These look fine. Any questions?
Oh, this has been immensely helpful. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Revise them and let me know when you're ready to go through it again. I think you'll get most of it. You're on the plus side, you did a good job of keeping your formatting consistent, which is hard for coaches to do. And that actually is a good thing. It looks very well organized. I saw the consistency of what you were doing, and that's also good. It just wasn't consistently the right answer. But it's still good that you were, that's hard to keep, the same line of thinking and going through that. And so those points are really good. I would suspect it'll be like we talked about. I think you'll be able to get it up to a B plus on the next run, and there'll be some things you won't get, and we should be able to close it in one or two more cycle throughs. Make sure that you are really good at teaching any movements in here. For example, the kettlebell swing. Okay, think about, where did you learn that? Who taught that to you, right? Was it self-taught? Did you take a certification on it? Because I'm going to check to make sure that you have the knowledge base to teach that. And if you don't, it shouldn't be in your program. Then maybe you do. Maybe, I learned it from Andrea Duquesne, who's one of the founders of the Russian Kettlebell Club, and that's where I learned to do the swing from. And before I worked with her, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and there was some tough lessons I learned from her. So just think about that from some of the more difficult movements in here. Where did I learn this movement, and how confident am I that I know all the points of performance and the sequencing for changing them? Because you don't get any bonus points for picking harder movements. Doesn't get people in shape any faster. Just gets them hurt faster if you don't know what to correct.
I understand.
So, not that you can't have swings in a beginner program. You totally can. I just expect you to be damn good at teaching them. That's all.
So don't use them unless that's something I can always incorporate later on when I have the technique.
Yeah, when you've learned more about it. And I don't know, you might be very good at it. I have no idea how good you are at swings and coaching them.
Nope, I'm not.
Okay.
Good.
There's no need to put them in because, think about it, right? Are swings a necessary exercise to get somebody in good shape? No, absolutely not. People were in good shape long before we even had swings in this country. So just focus on the stuff so that any movement I come and watch you coach, you're like, well, I know this movement. I know all the points. I know how to correct it. I know what's important. I know how it should be done. And you'll keep the client safe, and you'll have more confidence. And, harder movements, you'll learn them. It takes time to learn them. But, that way, what will happen too, if you don't know the movements well, clients can't always tell. Clients can see, even if they can't do the movements, you can see whose movements look better, right? Like, just like in dance, right? I'm not an expert at dancing, but and I don't think you're an expert at dancing either, are you? But I know nothing about dancing, honestly. But I bet you if I watched you dance and I watched a pro dance, I could see who's better at dancing, right? I can't do it, and I couldn't even tell you why, but you can see something's better than the other. So pick movements that you can do well, because otherwise it's going to undermine your authority, because they'll see the other coaches are better and they won't book you again because they don't think you know what you're doing. So,
I understand.
and I do that in my own classes. I don't put stuff in my classes that I can't impress clients with. And honestly, if I can't impress them, I probably shouldn't be coaching them. And then that's why I hired Ira to teach my yoga, because you know what? She looks way more impressive teaching yoga than I do. Good for her.
Yes, definitely.
Good stuff. All right. Just give me a call or send me an email when you have the next revision, and we'll go through it and hopefully finalize the next shot. If not, we'll do it on the third one.
Oh, thanks. I'll try to knock this out by the weekend. So
Okay. Yeah, you have some time here to do it. It's much less time than the first time, but it's still going to take some time to clean up these pieces.
Paul, thank you for all the feedback.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good night.
Bye.